This is the Lotus Evora 400. It's the fastest Lotus that you can currently buy. It definitely wants to be a supercar brand, but is it? Or is it just a sports car? All I know is from the time that I've spent in this car today, it is by far one of the most fun cars I've ever driven. So today I'm going to do my best to relay the experience of the Lotus Evora 400. All right, so let's start with the exterior optics of the Lotus Evora 400. Very aggressive front end. I mean, to me, it looks like a supercar. We have 19-inch wheels up front. The Evora sits on Michelin Pilot Supersport tires. There are 235, 35, 19s up front. All around the car, we have 4-piston calipers, 2-piece rotors. And then we come over here, we got big air vents going into the mid-mounted engine that we'll get to in a minute here. Rear wheels, 285, 30, 20-inch Michelin Pilot Supersport tires. Then we get to the rear. Mid-centered single exhaust pipe. We're gonna listen to this car here very shortly. It sounds awesome. Take a look at the badge in here. Lotus Evora 400 obviously stands for the amount of horsepower. You can see the engine through the rear windshield here. And what we'll do is go ahead and pop the trunk right away. That you do from in here. That button right there. Minimal storage space here. Just room for some camera equipment, bigger duffel bag and such. And here we have the 3.5 liter V6. 400 horsepower and 305 pound-feet of torque to the rear wheels. All right, so now for the interior. This one has a red leather package. I'm 6'2", so I'll show you guys how it is for a little taller guy to drive a car like this. The seats, you can't move them up and down, only front and back. And then you can move this front and back as well. We got good leather materials here, window buttons. But we'll go ahead and jump in and start the car up. And my first impression of stepping inside the car is it's a supercar feeling because it's very tight, just confined interior. Back seat, obviously, yeah, for insurance purposes. Nothing can fit back there but luggage. You see the engine compartment behind you. It's an absolutely amazing feeling to get inside this car. It is a gorgeous interior, yet very, very simple. 6-speed manual. Right here we have the fan speed, temperature, where you want the fan to blow. Very simple buttons here. And we'll go ahead and start the car up. And the way to do that is I'm gonna have to put the camera down. You have to push this button in at the same time as you push this button in when you start the car. Okay, so one more look at the interior before we take it out on the road here. Simple steering wheel. We got cruise control buttons right here, flat bottom steering wheel. And over here we have some buttons as well. Heated seats, sport button, race button, hazard, and then the exhaust button. So we're gonna put it in sport. And here's one really cool feature. Hopefully I can get that on camera for you guys here. Look back there in the engine compartment. When you rev it, you see that cord that goes to the engine and the little apparatus that you can rev the engine from manually. I mean, how awesome is it to see that in the rearview mirror as soon as you rev the car? Now these seats are perfectly bolstered for someone my size at least. The bolsters aren't adjustable in themselves, but yeah, I love these seats. They're great. Headroom, awesome as well. Since you can't move the seat up and down, they have to have good headroom. Other interesting thing to note is that these are the tiniest sun visors I've ever seen. Now regarding the interior, the only thing that I don't really like is this infotainment system, if you can call it that. It looks like a aftermarket head unit from 1997. And it makes this little beepy noise when you click the buttons. Yeah, that just seems extremely out of date. Everything else in the interior I love. As I mentioned, it feels like you're stepping into a supercar when you get in the Lotus Evora. All right, so for the initial driving part of the review, we're gonna do it in POV style because it is an experience to drive this car. All right, here we go. The throws in the gearbox are very short as well. It's a very easy car to drive. The handling, I mean, this car weighs 3,100 pounds. And it's got 400 horsepower and 305 pound-feet of torque. I mean, this is a track monster. It is glued to the road. Oh, the sound from that V6. It is amazing back there. Now with the engine of the Lotus Evora 400 being mid-mounted, of course that gives you more of the feeling of a supercar because you hear the engine roar in the back here. Now we currently have it in sport. Now when put in race mode, it mainly turns off all the traction control in the car. Now I apologize, I haven't even mentioned that this is a supercharged V6, so listen to this. You hear the supercharger wind up as well when you get on the throttle. It's not super loud, it's not Hellcat loud, but you do hear it. And to be a 6-cylinder, this car sounds amazing. It's no manufactured sound. It's raw, it's real, there's no induction noise or any nonsense like that. This car just feels genuine and real. It's amazing to drive. All right, we're gonna do a little pull here while we can. Oh, you guys hear that sound? It sounds so good and it's fast. 0 to 60 in this car is 4.1 seconds. Now I'm driving the 6-speed manual, as you guys already know. It is available with the 7-speed automatic as well, which is slightly quicker. Okay, so while filming this review today, my external GoPro mic decided to crap out on me, so I hope you guys can hear me. what defines a supercar? Well, I think that's a pretty tough question. There's many different things that would factor into what a supercar is. It's definitely, obviously, performance. And many say a supercar needs to be exotic, meaning that it's rare, not an everyman car. The Lotus Evora 400 is definitely rare. The dealership who provided this car for today's review is Lotus of Pittsburgh, and they are the only Lotus dealership in Pennsylvania. Now, does that make it exotic in itself? No. Pricing, obviously, exotic as well. This car right here, stickers for $101,000, although the Lotus Evora starts at $89,000. But just like any car, you can spec them to your preference and your needs, and the price will go up. Now, to me, a supercar needs to have a V8 at least. But after driving this car, mid-mounted, V6, supercharged at that, and the amazing sound that it gives, and the experience that it gives, if the Lotus Evora is not a supercar, it is extremely close to being one. It feels like you're stepping into, and you know, I don't want to cuss in church here, but it almost feels like you're stepping into a Ferrari. The instrument cluster, just the look of the interior, the feel, it's so narrow, it's loud in here. I have to sit and scream for you guys to even hear me. Oh. So what I wish we had today was obviously a track, because that's what this car is made for. It is so light and nimble, not really a straight line car, although it's fun driving it in a straight line as well. Such a fun car to drive because it's so easy to drive. It's confidence inspiring because it handles so well. But I want to give a special thanks to Lotus of Pittsburgh and the Wright Automotive Group for providing this awesome car in today's review. If you're looking for a Lotus, they do have several for sale currently. So check them out if you're interested. I'll leave all their information in the description below. And if you're stopping by the channel for the first time and you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.